Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep today, deep into The Richest Man in Babylon.
This book, it's almost 100 years old, and it's still a bestseller. It's incredible.
Crazy, right? Ancient Babylonian financial advice. Who knew it could be so relevant?
That's the beauty of it, though, isn't it? These timeless principles.
Totally. So we've got the book. We're ready to go. Let's see if these ancient Babylonians can teach us a thing or two about managing our money today.
I think they can. I really do. One thing that strikes me about the book is the format.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like a textbook or anything. It's a collection of parables set in, you guessed it, ancient Babylon.
Smart way to make financial advice a bit more interesting, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's engaging and relatable, even though it was written, well, thousands of years ago.
Okay, so let's jump in. We've got to meet our, what is he, a hero?
Kind of, yeah.
Our wise sage, the richest man himself, Arkad.
Arkad, yeah.
Yeah.
He's this super wealthy guy in ancient Babylon. Think of him as like the original personal finance guru.
The OG, yeah. So the book is basically full of his advice told through these, what'd you call them?
Parables.
Perils, right? So where do we even begin with all this wisdom?
Well, I think the foundation of the book is what they call the 7 cures for a lean purse.
Okay, the 7 cures.
They're like 7 steps,
Yes.
simple steps to build wealth. But when you look closer, I think there's a lot more to them than meets the eye.
All right, tease me. Give me one.
Control thy expenditures.
Ooh, that sounds familiar, like budgeting, right?
It is, but it's more than that. It's not just about tracking your spending. The
Mhm.
book digs deeper. It's about understanding the difference between like your desires and your actual needs.
Oof, yeah, that's where I get into trouble. Speaking of trouble, can you give me a concrete example?
Of course. So there's this story in the book, a man who desperately wants to buy a chariot.
A chariot. Talk about expenditures.
Exactly. But he realizes that walking everywhere allows him to notice opportunities. Opportunities he would have missed if he was riding in his fancy chariot.
Interesting. It's about being intentional with your money.
Yeah, it's about mindful spending, thinking about what you really need versus what you just, want.
Okay, that makes sense. But saving is just one part of the equation. What about actually growing our wealth?
That's where make thy gold multiply comes in, another one of the 7 cures.
And that's all about compound interest.
Oh, the magic of compound interest. How do they explain it in ancient Babylonian times?
They use the analogy of a farmer.
Okay.
So the farmer plants his grain, and each year the harvest multiplies. They use this to show how even small, consistent investments can grow, like exponentially over time.
Okay, I get the analogy, but I need a modern day example to really make this click.
All right, imagine this. You invest $500 every month, consistently, into a low-cost index fund, and let's say it earns an average return of, 7%. After 30 years, you'd have, wait for it,
I'm waiting.
close to $600,000.
Whoa, that's the power of compound interest. Exactly. It's your money making more money. And the longer you let it work its magic, the more dramatic the results.
Okay, so we've got to control our spending and invest wisely. Got it. But there's always a but.
Right. The book also warns about guarding thy treasures from loss. Can't forget about that
Now,
one.
that sounds important. What does that actually mean?
It means being careful, being cautious. Don't fall for those get-rich-quick schemes. They were around even back then.
Yeah, I guess some things never change.
Nope. And the book stresses the importance of knowledge. You have to understand what you're investing in. Seek advice from people who actually know what they're doing.
Sounds like solid advice no matter what century you're in. Actually, this reminds me of,
The crypto craze.
exactly, people pouring money into things they didn't understand, hoping to strike it rich.
And unfortunately, many of them lost a lot, just like the guy in the book who he invested in jewels he knew nothing about, ended up losing everything.
Classic mistake. So we've got to be wise and cautious with our investments. But what about buying a home? Is that part of the Babylonian wealth-building plan?
It is. One of the 7 cures is make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. Arkad. He's a big believer in owning your home.
So he's on team own, not team rent. Interesting.
He argues that paying rent is like throwing money away. You're building someone else's wealth, not your own.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But wouldn't he be shocked by today's housing market? I wonder what he'd say about all that.
He might be surprised, for sure. But I think he'd still emphasize the importance of owning your own place. It provides security, stability.
Maybe he'd have some caveats for us modern folks, though.
Oh, definitely. I think he'd stress affordability,
Mm.
not over-leveraging yourself. Starting small, if that's what it takes, building equity over time.
It's fascinating how these ancient principles still apply. But things have changed a lot since ancient Babylon, haven't they? Like, a lot.
They have, you're right. The world of finance is much more complex now. For instance, the book doesn't mention diversification.
Which is like investing 101 today, right?
Exactly. So we have to adapt these principles to our modern reality.
Right, so it's not a one-to-one translation.
No.
Okay, so we've got control thy expenditures, make thy gold multiply, and make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. 3 down, 4 to go.
Let's keep going. We've got ensure a future income and increase thy ability to earn. We can't forget those.
Okay, hit me with those. What do they mean?
Ensure a future income. That's about thinking long term, planning for retirement and unexpected events.
Got it. So the ancient Babylonian version of a 401k.
Exactly. And then there's increase thy ability to earn. That one's all about investing in yourself.
So like learning new skills, advancing your career.
Exactly. Constantly growing and improving to increase your earning potential.
It's funny, I'm starting to see The Richest Man in Babylon as more than just a finance book. It's almost like a philosophy for life.
I agree. It's about taking control of your own destiny, not just financially, but in all aspects of your life.
All right, so we've explored 4 of the 7 cures for a lean purse, and wow, they are relevant. But there's more. We can't forget about the 5 laws of gold.
We can't. They're like the cheat sheet,
Yeah.
The ultimate guide to wealth building, ancient Babylonian style.
All right, I'm ready for these golden nuggets of wisdom. Lay 'em on me.
The first law. Okay, the first law states that gold cometh gladly and increasing quantity to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earnings to create an estate for his future and that of his family.
So basically, pay yourself first. Classic advice.
Exactly. Make saving a habit. Don't even think about it. Just do it automatically.
Automation, that's key. Okay, what's the second law?
The second law says that gold laboreth diligently and contentedly for the wise owner who finds for it profitable employment, multiplying even as the flocks of the field.
Okay, so this is about putting your money to work for you, investing it wisely.
Exactly. Don't just stuff it under your mattress. Find profitable employment for it. Make it grow.
Makes sense, but, got to be smart about it.
Absolutely. The book really emphasizes being wise with your investments, choosing things that are likely to grow and multiply over time.
I'm sensing a theme here. Be proactive, but be smart. Don't be reckless.
Exactly. Which brings us to the third law. Ready for this one?
Hit me.
Gold clingeth to the protection of the cautious owner who invests it under the advice of men wise in its handling.
Okay, so be careful, be cautious.
Yes. Seek advice. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Learn from people who are already successful.
Makes sense. Don't put all your eggs in one basket either.
That's a modern interpretation, but yeah, the idea is similar. Don't be reckless with your hard-earned gold.
Okay, I'm digging these laws so far. What's number 4?
The fourth law states, gold slippeth away from the man who invests it in businesses or purposes with which he is not familiar or which are not approved by those skilled in its keep.
Ooh, I like that one. Stay in your lane, basically.
Exactly. Don't invest in things you don't understand. Do your research. Know what you're getting into.
It's like you wouldn't try to perform brain surgery if you weren't a brain surgeon.
Precisely. Stick to what you know. Or at least be willing to learn before you invest.
Okay, that's a good rule of thumb for anything in life, really. All right, I'm ready for the 5th and final law. What's the grand finale?
The fifth law says that gold flees the man who would force it to impossible earnings, or who followeth the alluring advice of tricksters and schemers, or who trusts it to his own inexperience and romantic desires in investment.
Okay, that's a mouthful. Break it down for me.
Basically, it's a warning against being greedy. Don't chase those unrealistic returns. Don't fall for scams.
Sounds familiar.
And don't let your emotions cloud your judgment.
Be rational, not emotional.
Right. Investing is a long game. You need patience, discipline, and a clear head.
So it's like the culmination of all the previous laws all rolled into one.
Exactly. Be smart, be cautious, be patient, and don't be greedy.
Solid advice. I feel like we've been given the keys to the kingdom here.
In a way, yes. These 5 laws of gold, along with those 7 cures, they provide a really solid framework for building wealth.
And the coolest part, it's all coming from ancient Babylon. Who would have thought?
It's a testament to the enduring power of these principles. They're timeless.
Okay, so we've got the 7 cures, we've got the 5 laws of gold. It's a lot to digest. But how do we actually apply all of this wisdom to our lives today? Like practically speaking?
That's the million-dollar question, right? Let's tackle that next.
Okay, so we've walked the streets of ancient Babylon. We've learned there's 7 cures for a lean purse. We've even deciphered those 5 laws of gold. But what does it all mean for us? Like, right here, right now.
Well, it means the fundamentals haven't really changed. Those principles, even though they're dressed up in ancient Babylonian clothes, they're still relevant. They work.
It's like they've handed us this amazing blueprint. But we have to, update the material, swap out the mud bricks for something a little more modern.
Exactly. Like start thy purse to fattening today. That's setting up automatic transfers to a high-yield savings account or, your retirement fund.
Easy peasy. And control our expenditures. That goes beyond just budgeting, right? It's about understanding how our brains work, how we trick ourselves into thinking we need things when we really just want them.
Oh, for sure. Think about targeted ads, influencer marketing. Arkad would have a field day with that stuff.
I can just imagine. Okay, but what about making that gold multiply? How does that translate to today's world?
Well, you've got options, right? Index funds, real estate, all sorts of things. The key is understanding how much risk you're comfortable with and, maybe talking to a financial advisor if you need help.
So take the ancient wisdom and layer on a modern understanding of the tools and strategies we have available. Love it.
Exactly. And don't forget about investing in yourself. That increased thy ability to earn, that's crucial. Things change so fast these days, you got to stay ahead of the curve.
Online courses, professional development, maybe even a side hustle, right?
Exactly. The more you learn, the more valuable you become, and, well, the more you can earn.
Seems like The Richest Man in Babylon, it's not just a book about money. It's almost like a blueprint for a good life, a successful life.
It really is. It's about taking control, making smart choices, and, well, building the life you want, one step at a time.
So, as we wrap up our Babylonian adventure, I have a question for you. If Arkad could step into 2024, what do you think would blow his mind?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. I think he'd be amazed by how fast everything moves. The stock market, the internet, instant transactions. Think about cryptocurrency. That would probably fry his
Oh,
circuits.
can you imagine? Showing him how to pay for coffee with his phone, he'd be like, wait, you don't need gold coins anymore?
I know, right? But I think he'd also be impressed by how much information is available to everyone now. Back in his day, knowledge was power, and it was hard to come by.
You'd probably start a YouTube channel. Arkad's Ancient Secrets to Modern Wealth.
I'd subscribe to that.
Me too. But seriously, I think Arkad would remind us that no matter how much technology changes, the fundamentals are still the same.
100%. It's about making wise choices, thinking long-term, investing in yourself, and, not falling for those get-rich-quick schemes.
So, to our listeners, if you could take just one thing from The Richest Man in Babylon and apply it to your life this week, what would it be?
Go back to those 7 cures, those 5 laws of gold. Which one speaks to you? Which one can make a difference right now?
Pick one, make a plan, and just start. Even a small step is a step in the right direction.
Exactly. It's a journey, not a race.
Well said.
Yeah.
So keep learning, keep growing, and keep those ancient secrets close at hand. Until next time, happy diving.